The last time you saw me, I was 13 years old. I was just about to start my freshman year in high school, and I looked like this. It is currently 11:20 p.m. It's the last day of August, and by the time I wake up tomorrow, I will be starting my senior year of high school. I've always been super excited for high school. Like growing up, I spent a lot of time watching movies, and like the teenage dream and like this idea of like being a high schooler and living life, it was super cool to me. I've always been one to romanticize a lot of aspects of my life, if that's the right word. I would treat every like milestone day like super special, and I realized that this is my last night before the first day of school until college, and in college nobody cares about you at all, so that doesn't really matter. But today was mostly like a nothing day. I did some stuff for college applications. I swept and mopped my whole house. That's how you know your life is boring. I exercised. I made myself a spaghetti dinner, and then I watched a film. This video is probably going to make no sense, but I'm holding myself to one video a week. So that was a lie. The video you just watched was recorded on the 1st of September, and it is currently the 28th. In 46 minutes, I'm going to turn 17. I started making YouTube videos in 2015, and I started making them for 3 reasons. 1, I loved YouTube. 2, all my friends were doing it. And 3, how does this open? I've always been in love with the idea of having a community that I could talk to, and this is lopsided. I was kind of a lonely kid. I wasn't alone per se, but I definitely felt lonely. I didn't really feel like I could talk to anyone about stuff that I liked. I didn't know how to talk in the first place, and I didn't really talk to my friends about that kind of stuff. But I felt like I could talk to the random, probably pedophilic strangers on YouTube.com. It began innocently enough. I would sit in my room and I would talk about whatever, fleeting and inconsequential drama was plaguing the internet at the time. Stuff that really had no bearing on my life and I should not have even known about, because I was barely 10 years old when I made my first video. I'm actually so scared right now. That is actually so dangerous. How is this stuff legal? I'm really scared that this thing is gonna like blow up my room, so I'm just gonna blow it out really quick. Special effects. I just realized that my mic wasn't plugged in, so I guess nothing has changed. It was a nice outlet. It was fun. I enjoyed myself. I learned how to edit. I learned how to edit pictures poorly, but I still learned. I was just having a blast, when I wasn't dealing with whatever problems I was dealing with. I could go on YouTube and I could talk into the void, and I could enjoy myself. As the years went on, I'm so scared. If this like blows up like while I'm talking, it's going to be the most hilarious thing. But as the years went on, things started to change. I got a lot more self-conscious. This fire is inching closer to my thumb with every second that's going on. Ow. I started to feel anxious, and for the first time in my life, I started to care about what other people were saying to me. It's the magic of when you're a kid, and you can go online and you can go out in public and you can say and do all sorts of wacky, stupid stuff, and you just don't realize it because you're a kid and you're stupid. I started to develop some pretty serious anxiety around middle school, around 2016-ish, and that definitely had an impact on my YouTube. Oh my god. You know what? I'm done. I give up. This is my third attempt on that. And I'm just gonna give up before I burn my house. down. Fire is whack anyway. It definitely had an effect on my content. I started considering what other people would want in my videos, which is a good thing, but the way I was doing it was not. Although, looking back, my videos were still terrible, and I probably should have listened to all the people that said I sucked. Those words definitely had an effect on me, and it kind of crippled my brain in a lot of ways. I was only making ever so many videos a year, and although a good amount of that is due to sheer laziness, a lot of that was just fear, and that fear worsened and worsened as I grew. As of recording this, I'm 16, and this has been the most interesting year of my life. I've been doing a lot of thinking about my childhood and about my future, as always, but this year is the year that I've come to some very interesting revelations. Most of them were bad, but a good one is this. Looking back, a lot of those videos were terrible, but they were still me. They were still authentic to what I wanted to do. They were still what I wanted to say, and they were very genuine. I don't know what this was. As time went on, though, I started uploading less. I started masking my personality and being more like whoever was popular at the time. Unfortunately, one of those people was Leafy. Good God. Basically, my growing anxieties and the fact that I'm a kid both contributed to the loss of my personality. I wanted to be whoever was popular, whoever was trendy, and whoever I liked, while also being whoever wouldn't be mocked or criticized. But what I didn't realize is that everyone would be mocked and criticized because everyone in the world is terrible. This sounds like this just like looks like a video that you would see on the computer of some like school shooter or terrorist or something. Then came 8th grade. I was making barely any videos, just to be clear. I did not quit or stop out of, well, I did stop for mental reasons, but I did not stop because I hated it or I was burnt out. I did get burnt out, but I wouldn't have stopped indefinitely. I stopped purely because of my anxiety. I was going into high school, and I didn't want people to find my channel and make fun of me. Spoiler alert, it happened anyway. But part of me is kind of happy that I stopped because, one, I feel like I was one critical drinker video away from falling down the alt-right pipeline. And two, I don't know, I feel like this time gave me a chance, ever since 2019, so many things have happened. It's been 3 years, quarantine. I'm a senior in high school. My entire high school experience is like almost over. The thing that I've been looking forward to since I could speak is like gone, basically. And I'm just like chilling, watching TV. It kind of reminded me, this is what I miss doing. I've always been in love with the idea of community and, sharing myself. That sounded strange. Sharing what I like to do and what I like to talk about and my thoughts and my opinions, especially the ones that not anyone over the age of 18 will care about. And I never realized that YouTube was that, which is strange because that's the whole point of YouTube. I'm also glad that I got time to like grow as a person and, have more creative ideas and become smarter and think about what I want to do better, because before, my channel was just a mishmash of whatever I wanted to talk about as a kid. But now, my channel will be a mix match of whatever I want to talk about. But yeah, I was so terrified of anyone from my high school finding out about my videos that I just stopped entirely. And that fear of not even failing, that fear of cringe and embarrassment has really been lingering on my mind recently, because that's something that's prevalent throughout my entire life. I'm not super social. I don't talk aloud that much. I'm very reserved and quiet, and I don't do that many things. It's not because I'm afraid of failing. I couldn't care less if I fail. I just don't want to be laughed at. And that sounds so pathetic and so vain, but it really is that debilitating when you're like so like obsessed with whatever people say about you. And to be honest, although I'm working through it, I still am, okay? I'm not gonna lie to you, okay? When you asked me when I was younger if I got a hate comment, I would probably say I didn't care, but I clearly did. But also, looking back on high school and realizing how little I did, how little fun I had, and how much time I missed, especially for a time that I romanticized and look forward to my entire life, has definitely stuck with me. It's making me realize, like, nobody cares. Like, you know, you really can't let your fear of embarrassment stop you from growing or chasing the things you want to do, and you can't be so afraid of what other people think that you don't even try at all. I also think it's funny how, like, it took me 4 years, actually my entire life, to come to such a stereotypical and cliche and sappy conclusion that everyone already knows. But my first video is me singing Bobby Shmurda in a wife beater, so I don't really know what you expect from me. I'm just glad to be back. This channel could blow up, it could stay unknown forever, or I could be a niche internet micro celebrity. Who knows? Who cares? That's a lie. I care. Whatever happens, at least I did it, you know, at least I tried, and at least I did what I wanted to do. That sounds so pathetic. This is supposed to be like the cool part where I take my cupcake and I blow out the candle, but I've already like gone through 3 matches, 2 of which almost burned my hand. So I think I'm done before the fire brigade has a party at my house tonight. I've thought about how I would return for a long time. I thought, you know, what's my video gonna be like? You know, what's my aesthetic going to be like? These are things I didn't even think about before, which is hilarious to me, because I've always been a stickler for aesthetic and community, as I've said a million times before. But I never thought to combine it with YouTube. Who'd have thought? You know, visual aesthetic and YouTube. Another thing that I've been thinking about for my eventual and now finally arrived return to YouTube is my content. Like, what am I going to do? Like, I'm never someone that wanted to niche down. I was worried. Part of me was like, you're not going to gain an audience because you're just doing whatever, and people are only going to come to you for one thing. And then there's also the part of me that's like, if I only do one thing, I'm going to take a gun and I'm going to put it to my... But I kept coming to the realization that all I really needed to do is get people to like me for my personality. And that's something I have to work on, because I have to first get one. I also have to get comfortable on camera again. That first video was a disaster. I didn't know what to say. I just hopped in front of the camera and was completely unprepared. I did the same thing this time. But I'm not niching down. I'm just going to be making things that I like to talk about, and hopefully I'll gain a community of people that like similar things, you know, like fashion, like movies, like all that stuff. I actually haven't been off YouTube this entire time. I edit videos, or I used to, but I also will get back to, and I also should be doing right now, for a YouTuber and friend named Kid Quezzy. Go check him out. All I know is that this is something I've always wanted to do, and I'm taking my first step. So, or my second step. Ever since I was young, I've always wanted to be 16. I've always been obsessed with youth culture. I've romanticized coming of age movies. You know, I would watch all the shows, all the movies. I would dream about being in high school, being a teenager, and now I'm here. It's interesting. It's boring. No, it's boring. I don't do anything. Like, you know, it's bad. Like, junior year, I would come home from school, I would eat, watch an episode of Seinfeld, do my homework, and go to sleep. I still am very much in love with youth culture, and you know, the idea of being young and being free. And 16 was always the pinnacle of that in culture. The Sweet 16, you know, Disney Channel movies, the idea of turning 16 and getting a car and all this independence and being like your own person, and this is when the world changes. And it's really not. And I want to talk to anyone that's like 16 or under 16, you know, heading up to that age when you're kind of just as confused and lost, and like, hey, this is not, you know, Teen Wolf, and it's more like the Stanford prison experience. I just want to talk to anyone that's like under 16 and you're like heading up to this age and you're like, hey, this isn't Euphoria. You shouldn't be watching Euphoria, by the way, but maybe you're my age and you're kind of looking around realizing, hey, everything is boring. Like this, I've been lied to. Or maybe you're over 16, in which case I'd say, how old are you? No, hey, if you're coming to this age, and maybe you might have a better time than I did, because life is not over. Life doesn't end at this age, okay? There's way more past this. I feel like TV kind of tells you, like, teen years, your pinnacle years, your prime years, end all or be all. And I'm like, if this is my end all or be all, I'm gonna kill myself. Because it's not. You have your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and I'm sure not. You guys don't want to get old. I don't really want to get old either. But it's not the end. And maybe you might have a better time than I did. Put yourself out there. Okay, have a level of self-awareness though, because I know too many people that have no self-awareness. But self-awareness isn't everything. Perception isn't everything. At the end of the day, life sucks. So are you making it harder on yourself? Imagining people that probably do not care that much about you. My teen years aren't over. I tend to live in the future a lot. I tend to speak as if things are already over, or next year is this year, and then after that is that year. So I'm basically 18, and basically after 18 I'm 20, and then after 20 I'm in my 20s and I have a job and everything, and now I'm dead. And that's not how it works. Okay, I'm still 16. I'm in this moment. I'm not even 17 yet. I'm still 16. I'm still in this moment, and I'm going to try to live like I'm in the moment from now on. How successful I am gonna be is dependent on how much I upload. So if a year comes by and I've only uploaded 3 videos on this channel, just know that I failed. It's Wednesday night. I take the SAT on Saturday morning. I still don't understand like 70% of what's on the math portion. And my entire room smells like smoke. And in 16 minutes, I turn 17. Also, I feel like I cultivated a bit of a strange audience on my time here, so if you watch Sneeko, please go away.